We have a Copa del Rey, El Clásico, and Inter get another tough matchup in their bid to win back-to-back Scudettos.
We got a top 4 matchup in the Bundesliga, and snooze, it is championship weekend in the Prem. All this and more on episode 62 of the No Business Soccer podcast. Snooze, kick us off.
Let's dig in. Welcome back to the No Business Soccer podcast. I'm your host, Snooze, and we got the full fam today. Brainiac, I almost said J-Fam the Brainiac, or I said that backwards, actually. You know what I meant. He's back there. He's on the ones and twos with Danny P, and of course, everybody's favorite, Hype Man Vic. What you sipping on, dog?
Well, it was one of the first bottles I sipped on, but I just saw it again. I was like, man, this is such a beautiful bottle for one. But we're gonna do the Heaven Hill grained glass, the weeded version. So you know what that means, of course. The mash bill is
heated or weeded.
Wheat mash bill has wheat in it. I know what it was. 35% wheat, 52% corn, 13% malt, 60% alcohol by volume. Absolutely great, smooth. And as I take this sip, what is also smooth is your clicker down there, your finger or your mouse, clicking clicking subscribe.
Okay.
And, yeah. Go ahead and like and subscribe for us. It's the best way to promote us. Definitely helps us out. And trying to be seen by a lot more people. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Yeah, and if you're wondering why this is coming out a day late, it's because the NFL draft was yesterday, and so we wanted to watch it. Do us.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of good picks that happened if you're a football fan, but the number one thing that happened is Danny P's team is the Titans, and they suck so bad that they got to choose first this year, and he's very excited for that. So let's congratulate him for got to do that. So yes, yay, good job, guys. Okay, but we do have not a full schedule this week, because if you didn't know, there was a midweek madness for the La Liga because the Copa del Rey final is this weekend, so they don't have matches. And then it's a weird weekend in Serie A as well, because obviously with the Pope's funeral being at the Vatican on Saturday, all the matches are pushed till Sunday, and maybe Monday. There's a few more. I can't remember exactly right now. But we do have regularly scheduled programs in England and in Germany, so we'll go over all of that today. And nothing else before we kick it off, is there? I don't think so, Vic.
I think that's pretty quick. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're good.
Right. This is crazy. It's going to be a quick show then. Let's get it started. Let's go to Italy.
Let's do it then. To Serie A.
Yes, sir. Let's get it kicked off with match day 33, or after match day 33. Let's take a look at the table before we go into the matches. Vic, tell us where that table lies.
Yes. If you remember, number 1 and number 2 are all locked up at 71 points. That's Inter Milan in the number 1 spot. They are on top of Napoli, just on goal differential. Napoli have a 27 goal differential, and Inter Milan have a 40 goal differential. Insane. So that is keeping them on top of Serie A. And then down below, Atalanta, 7 points behind them. Both of them, they have 64 points. They occupy our 3rd spot. And then rounding out our top 4 is Bologna with 60 points. Juventus tickling the top 4, as we say. They have 59 points, just 1 point behind Bologna. That's getting interesting, because also tied with them is Lazio, our Lazio, with 59 points as well in the number 6 spot. And then fighting to get in there, Roma is also tickling the top 6 there, fighting for a Europa League spot or any European spot. Still got a lot of games. They could fit into that Champions League. So they have 57 points and trying to get up in there. Some teams that have not got up in there. I don't know if we could say that correctly, but we have Venezia in the 18th spot. The first team relegated if the season ended today. They have 25 points. Despite the draw on their last match. Empoli also got a draw on their last match. They're in the 19th spot as well. Not as well. They have 25 points as well in the 19th spot. And then down at the bottom, a solid foundation for Serie A is Monza with 15 measly points, holding up the rest of the table. Snooze, is there anything to you want to call out on this table here before we go on to this?
A couple of things. The first thing is I like how the bottom, the people that are getting relegated are now virgins apparently in your standards. Nerds. But then also nerds. But then also, just to reiterate, if the top two teams are tied with points in Serie A, it's different than other leagues. It doesn't go to goal differential right away. Basically, it goes to a one match playoff, and the goal differential decides which is the home team in that one match playoff, or the whatever championship game, whatever you want to call it. So that would be super dope, and I can't wait to see if that happens. But there's some tough matchups this weekend, so we'll have to find out.
Gonna be fun. And speaking of this weekend, there are a couple of good, juicy matches, and I think a real good battle up there on top. Well, not really on top, 1-7. But tell us a little bit more about this schedule this weekend and what matches we got to look forward to.
Yeah, the matches, it's kind of all crazy, like we mentioned a little earlier, because of the Pope's funeral on Saturday. There is no games. Well, it's Friday, so no games that happen today, if people already know that. But then also no matches on Saturday either. So everything is condensed down to Sunday and Monday. So it should be fun. There's going to be a lot of Serie A on Sunday, I'll tell you that. And so with that, let's jump right into it. The first match we're going to talk about is the AT Aliens taking on the Milkmen in Bergamo. Atalanta have won back-to-back matches and are still trying to cement their Champions League credentials for next season, facing a Lecce team that haven't won in 10 Serie A matches, Vic. I think they extend that streak to 3 wins. I think they do. Also, we have Como, who have won 3 in a row, and they come up against a hot and cold. See how I did that? Hot and cold Genoa side. Because they win some, they lose some. And it's hard to say, but Patrick Vieira's got them playing nice. Both teams are just playing to get momentum into the offseason, but Como are building something, and if they win this one, watch out. That Como side, we might be talking about them a lot in the offseason. Speaking of hot and cold teams, Milan go on the road to take on Venezia in Venice. Venezia are 1 point from catching Lecce, and they will be fighting like hell to do so. Milan can't take their foot off the gas here because they obviously can't just continue to win games. They're in a weird season this year, Vic. Our Fiorentina are making a push to get into the top 6, and they have a good chance to add to their points total when Empoli come to Florence. It's the match of the weekend when Roma go to San Siro to take on Inter, and we'll break that one down for you in just a moment, and I can't wait for that one. I'll tell you that right now. Juve look to bounce back against bottom-of-the-table Monza. Monza are on a 4-game losing streak, and I don't see them riding the ship against Juve, even though Juve just lost to Parma on, what was it, Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Weird schedule for them the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Napoli know that Inter have a tough match this week, but they don't get it too much easier, Vic, because they have Torino coming down south to play them in Naples. And on Monday, Udinese come into their match with Bologna, having lost 5 straight Serie A matches. And Bologna are probably still on a high after taking down Inter last time out, and I can see them getting it done again. Verona and Cagliari aren't technically safe yet, but either side just needs a few more points to get there, and I think they can draw and still be fine with it, so this match will probably end up that way. Our Lazio get Parma in Rome as they try to put some distance between themselves and Roma and Fiorentina right below them. It's getting tight, as we were showing you a second ago. And so with that said, let's break down the match of the weekend in Serie A, and that is Roma versus Inter, and that's the one we were watching. I would say Inter did slip up against Bologna last time out, and I would say that because it was a tough match. It felt like they were going for the draw. They end up losing. The biggest point, or the biggest, I guess, result that they get from that loss is the fact that they're now level on points with Napoli, and they cannot afford to drop any more points because, as you see, the table's very, very tight. But Roma coming into town as the informed team in Serie A because they're unbeaten in 17 Serie A matches, which is insane. I feel like nobody's talking about that.
Yeah.
But they haven't lost in 17 Serie A matches. That's insane. Inter know that when you're the king, though, people are coming for you. Everybody's giving their all. You know how it is. Like your team wins the championship in whatever sport it may be, and the next, and everybody's trying to test you, right? They're trying to prove their best against you. And not only that in the league, but they also are still looking at a Champions League semifinal coming up soon. And so there's a lot to play for Inter. This Inter side is being taxed, and they look tired against Bologna, and hopefully they're not going to take their eye off the ball. They can't because Roma are a really, really good side, and Roma don't care. They're going to go in there and try to get points if they can. And I'll tell you, I was excited for the Inter and Bologna match last weekend because I couldn't see a path to victory for Bologna. I could see them drawing, and I can see Inter winning, but I didn't see Bologna winning. And the fact that they did, it just made me all the more excited to watch match because going into this match, I know that Roma could win this one if they really wanted to squeak out with the 1-0, 2-0. So, I mean, I'd probably put my money on a draw here, Vic, but really anything less than 3 points for Inter is catastrophic. Oh, I hit my mic when I said that. That just shows the emphasis. I'm very excited for this one because Roma, it's kind of like they're on house money and Inter cannot lose this match. Who do you got in this one?
I don't know, man. I think more than, I guess, rooting for either Inter or Roma, I kind of want them to stay with Napoli. I want Inter to stay with Napoli. I want to see this playoff. I think that's what I'm rooting for at this point. Where they play an extra game. I want more football. You know what I'm talking about? I think if I had to put money on it, I would go Inter. Obviously, Roma have been outstanding, but I don't think they would get. I mean, it's more than likely going to be a draw. But if I had to put money on a win, it would be Inter. I think it would be 1-1.
I think we're the same. Yeah, that's why I'm excited to watch this because, like I was saying, Bologna I didn't think had a chance to win it, and they did. So the fact that I already think Roma could win it means that, I'm going to be butt planted. I think this match is early too. It's like 8 a.m. wasn't it on the schedule? I can't remember exactly, but either way, go get your eggs, get your coffee, go sit down, watch this match. It'll be fun. Okay. Man, we're flying through this. Let's go ahead and let's move on to Germany.
Let's do it then. To Bundesliga.
Yes. And before we already flew over to Germany, but before we did, when we were in Italy, I should have said this, but Danny P had to leave the 1s and 2s because he's getting pizza delivered to him. That's Italian right there,
pizza. Yeah,
I know. With the theme.
And we'll pull the curtain back a little bit as well. Daniel's best time to eat is as soon as we want to do this podcast, by the way. That's his favorite time to eat. He's ready to cook. He's ready to order food. So the food just showed up as soon as we start this.
This is Danny P's world. We're just living in it. You know what I'm saying? But I am curious though, what kind of pizza he ordered, or like where did he get his pizza from? Did he dispose that information to us yet?
No, but surely he'll tell us on the podcast.
Yeah, let's see. Is he saying anything? No, he's not.
No, he didn't say anything.
Okay,
we'll get
Brainiac, go ahead and just get on that and let us know whenever he's back, because very curious, and the audience is curious as well. We need to know what kind of pizza he's munching on today. Anyway, Vic, tell us what the table in the Bundesliga looks like after match day 30.
Yes, after match day 30, you got Bayern Munich still on top. Stop if you heard me say that before. They have 72 points. They are a full 8 points ahead of Bayer Leverkusen, never losing Leverkusen, who have 64 points and occupy our second spot on the table. Eintracht Frankfurt have the third spot with 52 points, another clear 12 points behind Bayer Leverkusen. They're so spread out there on top three. And then you get this mashup right here of like 4 through 7, which is 4 through the 10, I think, actually. But you have Eintracht Frankfurt with 52 points. And then the number 4 spot is RB Leipzig. They round out our top 4 with 49. And then in that traffic jam, let's go through them. You got Freiburg. They have 48 points in the 5th spot. 1 point behind them is Mainz with 47 points in the 6th spot. Borussia Dortmund have 45 points. Tied with them is Werder Bremen with 45 points. And Borussia Mönchengladbach have 44 points in the 9th spot. And then rounding out the top 10, because it's so close, is Augsburg with 43 points. What a traffic jam right there, trying to get in these European spots. It is going to be a fun next couple of weeks. And, man, I'm excited. You excited, Snooze? I think you're excited.
I am so excited. It's getting good.
Not so as exciting as these bottom 2 teams. Bochum, of course. Boy, oh boy, Bochum. That's why I started saying boy, oh boy, Bochum. Or boy, oh boy. They have 20 points in the 17th spot. First team relegated as the season ended today. And then you got Holstein Kiel holding up the rest of the table. They've been down there for a while, although they are still just 1 point behind Bochum. You know, they're 1 win away again from jumping them, and there's enough games for them to jump out of the relegation spot. So while they have been at the bottom, Bochum and Holstein Kiel for most of the season, it's far from over for them, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that bottom shapes up as well. And Do you have anything you want to go over on this table, Snooze?
The only thing I want to call out, I was listening to the Gegenpressing podcast, if you care to know, and that's where I get most of my insider information for the Bundesliga. And I didn't realize it until they mentioned it, but because there's only 4 match days left in the Bundesliga, if Bayern Munich win and Leverkusen lose, I believe, then they win the league this week, because like the Prem, because it's 4 weeks is 12 points. Mm-hmm. So they're 9? What is it?
Yeah, they're 8.
Yeah. So it's very possible that they can win the league with a win this weekend. Is that true? Can you do the math for me just to make sure? And, you know what? It wasn't on the Gig and Pressing. I gave them a shout out for it. And it wasn't even what they said. It was on the game that happened today. It was Stuttgart and Heidenheim, which we'll talk about here in a second. And they were saying how it could be one. But anyway, interesting. So two leagues could be called. Well, one of them for sure will. The other one might be. So we'll find out. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk. That's all I wanted to call out.
Yeah. All right. Well, this weekend's going to be really pressed at 8:30 a.m. on a Saturday. As we have 5 games all going on at the same time. Snooze, tell us a little bit about them and what else we have to look forward to this weekend.
Yes, and first we'll start off with the game that happened today. It was Stuttgart and Heidenheim in Stuttgart, and they lost again. VfB, they get it, another loss to a team that they shouldn't be losing to. That's all I should say. If you want to watch the highlights, you can. Really, Heidenheim's goal was amazing. Double H, boy, he curled it in. It was real nice. If you're rooting for Stuttgart, probably not so much. So, anyway, we'll move off of that one. It's done. Can't do anything about it right now. So let's go to the games on Saturday. Like Vic was saying, we have a lot going on early, and it starts off with Leverkusen taking on mid-table Augsburg. And Augsburg are safe, and maybe they can reach Europe. It's very close. It's going to be hard, but they can because the table is so congested. But Leverkusen are comfortably in second, and not a lot to play for at this point in the season. Bottom of the table, Kiel give mid-table Gladbach. And I say mid-table, but they're currently only 3 points from Mainz and 6. And they need 3 points here for Gladbach. They really do because, it's going to be fun. This is such a race to the end. What do you say? A sprint to the finish. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll go on. Hoffenheim are 8 points clear of the 16th, but they get a Dortmund team who've turned things around of late. Dortmund, like basically half the table, we've already mentioned, know that Europe is still a possibility, so they will be going for it for sure. Mainz go on the road to take on Bayern, and this is the last chance for Mainz to salvage something from this great season they've had. It's a tough task, but they could be 8th with the loss and other results after this weekend, and 8th in the Bundesliga means no European competition next year. Freiburg look to build off back-to-back wins as they go on the road to Wolfsburg, which Wolfsburg have been one of the worst teams in the Bundesliga the last 5 matches. They got to get 3 points here for Freiburg because, let's work on that negative 4 goal differential. Still blows my mind how they're so far up the table with a negative goal differential. The main attraction of your Bundesliga weekend is Eintracht Frankfurt versus RB Leipzig, and we'll talk about this one more in a second. Second bottom, Bochum get Union Berlin at home, and Union have been pretty good lately, and Bochum have lost 5 straight in the Bundesliga. Let's just leave it at that. Enough said. One of the hottest teams in the league is Werder Bremen, and they get St. Pauli at home. Werder have a chance to make it 5 wins in a row and possibly jump into 6 with 3 points. St. Pauli, on the other hand, are not completely out of the woods yet for staying out of the relegation spot, but more than likely they're going to be safe. I think it's 8 points for them, and like we said, there's only a possibility of 12 right now. They would like to add some more points to that just to be sure this week and kind of go into the last few weeks cruising. Okay, Vic, with that said, let's break down this top 4 matchup in the Bundesliga like we mentioned at the top of the show. And it is Eintracht and Leipzig going toe-to-toe. Eintracht have slowly watched their gap between them in 3rd and 4th place erode, essentially. It's just gone. Going into their match with Leipzig, that's the team that's in 4th, and the gap is only 3 points. So if they lose this one, there's no more gap. And, they do have a higher goal differential, so yeah, they'll still be there if they lose, but it doesn't make them feel better to say that you're only up there because of goal differential, because that can change in a heartbeat. We know that. Both teams drew to teams they should have beat last weekend, and they both gained the same amount of points in the last 5 games, Vic. They have 10 points each. With both teams now out of Europe, I think it's safe to say that they're focusing hard on getting into those Champions League places, especially with the way that the Champions League money is delegated, or is that the word?
Yeah.
Delegated? No, not delegated.
Right.
Is it delegated? I don't know. The way that the money is passed out. Yes, that's what we're trying to say. A draw. I think a draw is cool with Eintracht because obviously they're above them in the table, but Leipzig need to win to keep the teams below them at bay and to catch Eintracht. Obviously, that's what they have to do. That's going to be their number one focus. But to add chaos to this, the last 4 European spots in the Bundesliga, if Leipzig do win, that would put so many more teams in the running to take Eintracht's spot in the table. So think about this, Vic. It's possible that on Monday, it could be only 2 to 3 point gap from 8th place to 3rd place with 3 matches left to play. And we are in for a wild finish in the Bundesliga, like we were saying. This one is probably going to be one of my favorites to watch how it plays out in the next half, not even half, I was going to say half a month, but 3 weeks is going to be insane. And yeah, we still got a few matches to go. So Vic, if I had to call this one, I think that will probably end up being like a 2-2 draw. And I know that's kind of a cop-out, but both teams have been struggling, and I don't see one being better than the other. Eintracht they've kind of like fallen off the track since they lost to Spurs in the Europa League, and because Marmoush hasn't been there, and Ekitike he's been okay, but he hasn't been himself. And kind of same thing with Leipzig. They have a good squad, but Xavi Simons and Šeško, they haven't hit the heights that they should have. Obviously with Siemens being hurt for so much of the season. But it's just crazy that this game, it's 3-4 going head to head, and it feels like neither team really has the edge here. But I'll say if I had to pick a winner, I would say Eintracht. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. If there was a winner, I'm going for a draw, but I'm going to say that it would be Eintracht, like 2-1, something like that.
Well, then we are at odds this week because I think I'm going to go RB Leipzig on this one. I mean, Eintracht have not been the same since Marmoush has been gone. They've been, going along. They've been getting some wins. Obviously not the same team. And also, I'm just thinking about talking about it this season. Like, we've talked about Bayern, obviously, Bayer Leverkusen, Eintracht Frankfurt. Mainz, we've talked about Freiburg, how just surprising they've been up there. Borussia Dortmund never leaves the conversation, but very quietly, RB Leipzig has just crept up there, and they could take the third spot. Well, if they win by like 6 or something like that, but they can creep up there and maybe take the third spot. And we haven't really talked about them too much as being like the powerhouse that they are going to hopefully claim in the third spot that they're trying to be. So I'm going to go RB Leipzig just as a dark horse, even though it's probably just us that hasn't talked. I'm sure other places have talked about
Well, it's weird, though, because they just got fresh off of firing Marco Rosa, as you say it in German, Marco Rosa. I thought it was Marco Rose, but no, Rosa. Anyway, he got fired from the job, got sacked, if you will, and they bring on a new coach, and they just seem to be kind of picking up steam. Now there's only 4 match days left, so there's not a lot that they can do. And I don't even know if this coach, I can't think of the name right now, if he's going to stick around next season. There's a lot of talk about them getting someone else, bringing in a bunch of different people. I've heard a lot of different rumors going on, but nothing concrete. But the problem with Leipzig is that they have an expensive squad, and if they don't make the Champions League, they pretty much can't afford the squad that they have. So, I mean, it's Red Bull, so of course they have the money. But as far as money that they be generating, that's why they need the Champions League, and that's why they constantly get in but don't really do much, because they just need the money that it generates so that they can start to bring in more players and develop these and keep these players. Because the rumor is if they don't make the Champions League, that Xavi could be on his way out. And they just bought him, like they finalized his contract, I think in the winter window, right? They had been there on loan from PSG for like 2 years, and they finally anyway, I'm rambling now, but the point is, Leipzig has had a lot that happened to them this season. So for them to get into the Champions League, it's imperative to what their structure is looking like as a club. And so, I can see them trying to go all out for it. But that's where I think Eintracht will kind of end up hitting them on the break, because I watched this team a lot. And then, of course, whenever they were playing with Spurs, they're really good on the counter. And Ekitike, even though he doesn't take all his chances, I've seen him bury a few on counters, and I don't know. I just have a feeling it'll be like a 2-1 win for Eintracht. So maybe a lunch bet for us. We'll
do that, because I think I'm going to go 1-0 RB Leipzig. So
okay,
let's do it. Lunch bet it is.
Yeah. All right. Y'all heard it here first. Okay. I think, did I already talk about? Yes, I did talk about how Bayern could win the league this week. And that's it. We wrapped up the Bundesliga. Wow, we are making record time here.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's go to jolly old England.
Let's do it then. To the Prem.
Land of fish and chips. And, I'm going to let my boy Vic talk a lot in this one, okay? He's going to get a lot of the stage on this one.
Ooh,
so before we jump into...
You're going to make Danny P mad, man. Producer Danny P don't like when I be talking.
He don't like that. But before we jump into Matchday 34, Vic, where does the table stand after match day 33?
I would love to tell you, because on top is still all red, and the best red is number 1. That is Liverpool, of course. They have 79 points, and as we are going to talk about later, could put away the Premier League title this weekend against jolly old Tottenham. I don't know what else to call them. You guys. In the number 2, they have 79 points. In the number 2 spot is Arsenal. They have 67 points. A clear 12 points behind Liverpool. Manchester City have fought their way back, even though they are 1 game up. They did play earlier this week on Wednesday, so they have 3 points. But of course, everyone else, except I think 3 other teams, have a game in hand. But they have 61 points, and they occupy a 3rd spot right now. Nottingham Forest are in the number 4 spot. They have 60 points, just 1 point behind Manchester City. So a win or a tie could make them, or a win could jump Manchester City for Nottingham Forest. And then rounding out our top 5 is Newcastle United, who have 59 points. And of course, that is that top 5 because the Champions League, we have 5 spots, at least for right now. And that's what we're calling the top 5. And then tickling our top 5 is Chelsea. They have 57 points. They got the Europa League spot, and then tied with them is Aston Villa with 57 points as well. If we look at the bottom of the table, you'll see the relegation twins. We'll start with them because Southampton and Leicester City have already been relegated. I'd tell you the points, but it's irrelevant at this point. Soon to be the same with them and have relegation triplets would be Ipswich Town. If West Ham United just gets a draw, that would make Ipswich Town mathematically eliminated, because Ipswich Town max points right now is 36, and that's what West Ham has right now. So 1 draw for West Ham knocks out Ipswich, and then we will have the relegation triplets who just showed up in the Prem. Crazily enough, back down.
And we know who's coming in.
Oh, we do know already. Oh, I didn't look that up. You want to go
Leeds and who's the other team? Burnley.
Burnley. That's
Leeds
right.
and Burnley. We don't know the third team. Obviously, it's a playoff. It's going to be happening, but we know who's automatically promoted. So
yes, Leeds and Burnley. Nice.
Hello, welcome.
Been a couple. Good luck, guys.
I know.
You already got an axe in your back, I think. So, anything else you want to call out on the table snooze?
No, let's get into it. Let's get this over with.
Well, like we said earlier, Liverpool could put the Premier League away, but that's not the only match going on this weekend. Tell us a little bit more. I know we had 2 matches already. Manchester City beat Aston Villa 2-1. Arsenal beat Palace 2-2. I don't know if I just stole your thunder there or not, but go ahead and tell us about the rest of the table. We got.
Yeah, no, you saved me some time. And look, the score. God, you're such a professional. Look at those scores up there. Okay, well then, let's jump right to the matches that are happening this weekend. On Saturday, Chelsea get Everton at Stamford Bridge, and they are in desperate need of a win if they're to catch Newcastle for that 5th spot in the table. Everton under Moyes have proven that they are tough to beat, though, and I think because of some of the matches since I wrote this, I think that Chelsea's actually above Newcastle. I can't remember, but either way, they're fighting for that 5th spot. Wolves look to make it 6 wins in a row in the Prem when they take on Leicester City, and they have a good chance to do that just because Leicester are terrible this season. But while we're talking about Leicester, I don't know if anybody saw this, but our boy Jamie Vardy is retiring, and that's sad, man. It's he's had a lot of good moments in the Prem, and just seeing that dude be crazy and be fast and just look good. I mean, he was like one of the main reasons they won the league when they did, unfortunately for Spurs. But either way, good career, good job, and have fun. I'm sure he'll be doing something. I don't see him being a pundit or anything like that. He seems like he just wants to go to a pub and just like hang out. Like, he doesn't seem like the type of let me put on a suit and talk football. So anyway, bye, Jamie Vardy. Okay, moving on. We should have like a sad song. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah.
Oh, whatever. We talked about it.
We'll work on it. Yeah, we'll work on it.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Newcastle will try to rinse the taste of defeat out of their mouths with Ipswich coming to town after they got dominated by Villa last time out. Ipswich are on their way down, as Vic just mentioned, and Newcastle need 3 points to keep Chelsea at bay. And again, I don't know why I keep thinking that that's wrong. Is that wrong? Did I get my notes wrong? Or is Chelsea
above? No, Chelsea is 6. Newcastle United is 5th.
Okay, so I was right. Yeah, look at me. Okay, I was doubting myself here. Look at the producers.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, yes, there we go. Yeah, so they need 3 points to keep Chelsea at bay. All right. 2 teams at the bottom of the form table, at least at the moment, go head-to-head when West Ham heads to the coast to take on Brighton. Both teams combined, Vic, listen to this. Both teams combined haven't won a single match in their last 10 Premier League matches. Yikes. I don't even know what else to say. Southampton will try their best, but Fulham will probably end up breaking their 2-game losing skid with a win here. And on Sunday, Bournemouth get a struggling United side at home, but they know that where they sit in 8th could lead to a conference or Europa League berth, depending on how things shake out in the European competitions. So they're ready to fight for their spot. Meanwhile, United are worried about their Europa League semifinal and are not too much worried about the league. Liverpool could win the title with the result against Spurs at Anfield. And this is the lock of the century, folks, as Spurs they've been horrible in the Prem, and it's kind of cool that Liverpool will win the league after a home match and get to celebrate with their fans, considering that they didn't have fans in the stands the last time they won, and that's not because it was so far long ago. It's because it happened in the COVID year, and nobody was there. Thursday, Forest bounced back from a consecutive losses with the win over Spurs last time out, but this time they get a stiffer test when Brentford comes to town. Brentford haven't had the best results recently, but they beat Brighton convincingly last time out. It should be a good match. And why this match is on Thursday, but still match day 34, no idea, but it is. So, okay, Vic, I know we usually talk about a match that we're all watching, but I'm not going to really talk about that. We're going to talk about the match that you're going to be watching this weekend, okay?
Me?
I'm just going to let you have the pedestal after I say a couple of things, and you can just go and tell me all about it. But really, Liverpool were so dominant this year that it made the title race boring since November. Like, we all knew it was over, and not mathematically, obviously, but we've all known since at least the fall that it was done, right? They're amazing. And the side note for this match is that Spurs and Liverpool matches are typically super entertaining. We always watch these. There's goals all over the place, so it should be fun for the mutual. But really, the Anfield faithful get to celebrate in the stadium with the team. It's going to be awesome. Congrats, Liverpool. Vic, go ahead. Tell us what you think about the match and how excited you are to see it.
Well, we're not counting our chickens yet, even though the Liverpool fan club here in Austin was like, no Spurs fan this weekend. Get here early. It's Championship Sunday. We're not counting our chickens yet. We still have to beat a Tottenham team who just, for some reason, plays us pretty well. And I think the best outcome from Arsenal and Crystal Palace happened where they drew, because if Arsenal had won, then we just won the title. I mean, if Crystal Palace won, we won the title. And we don't get any kind of play. There's nobody in the stands. Nothing happens. We didn't do anything. And if Arsenal won, then we had to beat Tottenham. But since Arsenal and Crystal Palace drew, we just have to get a tie. We just got to get a draw, or we got to win, of course. And we get to celebrate with the fans at Anfield. The whole club, everybody gets to celebrate and have a jolly good time. But we still got to win. We still got to draw. And we're just hoping for that. I'll be at BD Riley's.
I don't think you have a lot to worry about there, but
and one of the things and we've said this a couple times, which was pretty impressive, is that even though we do win and we win beating Tottenham, Tottenham also relegated Southampton. So they told us who the first relegation team was, right, Snooze? And then if they lose to Liverpool, they determine the Premier League champion. So what does that mean, Snooze?
Hey, we run this shit. We decide who wins and who loses this league. Everything else, who cares? But we are deciding who's at the top and at the bottom.
Yes.
I'm actually pumped for it because not that I think that Spurs have a chance at all, but I just I like these matches because as much as I hate it, because usually Liverpool come out the winners, they're fun. They're like, there's a lot of goals. Most of the time it's like 5-3, so it's not as fun for me, but still a lot of entertainment to go with these. And it'll be fun to see the pageantry and everything that comes with Liverpool winning the title. And it'll be really cool to see. This is obviously thinking in the future, but it'll be really cool to see how Slot kind of has an encore after that type of season, because it's not like with Bundesliga or like if you're Bayern in the Bundesliga or PSG in Ligue 1. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Where they're expected to win it every season. The Prem is at the top anyways, outside of Manchester City winning it a lot. But either way, my point is it's not easy to win it, and it's not expected that a single team is going to dominate it. And so when a new coach comes in and has a season like he does in the Prem, it's just, I'm excited for them to win it. And then I'm excited to see what happens next season with everything that's coming, with the new changes for Liverpool and everything that Slot's done for the team this year. It's just going to be a fun time. I'm excited for their summer and to see how their new team shakes out going into next season. And of course, we can't forget that he's going to win it this season too. So there you go. There you go.
Bro, if I didn't know you any better, you sound like a Red. Like, you sound really good. You sound really,
I'm giving you your flowers, and they're not death flowers this time because it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I need producers. Y'all need to clip this. Y'all clip this. Make sure I want this for like a ringtone almost. He sounds great.
Make sure you have his Newcastle kit on in that clip as well.
Yeah. We I cut off our sponsorship to a shirt in a box. They gave me a Newcastle kit. Apparently, this is also like $25. So if you're thinking of shirt in a box,
hey, whoa! Hey, if they want to sponsor us, hey, chill.
No,
what I will say is that it's a nice kit, and I would wear it even if I'm not a Newcastle. We've said this before, though. Newcastle is like both our second team that we root for.
That's the only reason I kept it, is because like, hey, it's Newcastle. Although it doesn't have a sponsor on it. It's just blank. Usually there's a sponsor there.
Is that like a warm-up kit then? That's interesting. Huh.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Even warm-up ones have them. But back to the show at hand. Yes, I'm definitely. I don't want to say rooting for Liverpool this weekend because I don't think they need me to root for them. But yeah, it's going to be cool. The thing that I've always liked about Slot too is that he wasn't looking at Spurs at all, but Spurs were looking at Slot big time whenever Pochettino was going away, and then after. Of course, we had Conte and we had Mourinho, and like this Slot's name kept coming up, and so I kind of kept, like not in touch. I almost said that's like I've never talked to this guy in my life. I'm not in touch, but I've kept an eye on him and seeing what he was doing over there in the Eredivisie, however you say it. And so to see him come in and have this much success is really cool. So not a Red, but hey, I'm excited for you, my boy, to have some fun on.
And he
Sunday.
was.
What is this? Is that 2? Isn't it?
What?
Or no, 10. It's an early game, isn't it?
Yeah, 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was good enough to keep Virgil and Salah, bring them back for 2 more years.
Hey, there you go.
Can't ask for much more than that. That's pretty nice.
I mean, this is what a season for you. Golly, you must be bricked up at the thought of it.
Got no idea.
Here. We're crazy. We're talking crazy now.
We're rambling. All right.
Go ahead and take us home, sir.
All right. Everyone, thank you for spending some time with us, talk about some football. Again, like and subscribe is the best way to promote us and help us out. Follow us on all our socials. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for Twitter, except for TikTok. That is at No Biz Sock Pod, as you see down there. I don't know which way I'm facing anymore. Everyone, enjoy some football this weekend. If you're at BD Rallies, come say what's up. First Guinness is on me. Talk to y'all soon.
Peace.